see that beautiful graphic right there, you're also going to see me have to kind of walk some things back because I thought that the Chargers had the potential to maybe be the best team in the AFC.
Oh, you did.
All that talent on paper. J.C. Jackson, who they picked up last year, was a complete bust. Appears he's a complete bust again this year, and now he has like a warrant out for his arrest. But I'm not done with the Chargers yet. That team has all the talent in the world. Justin Herbert, the only quarterback in the league without a turnover thus far. Already injuries in the wide receiver room. What do you expect? Quentin Johnson looks like a complete bust. It is only year one. He's a rookie. We'll see if he gets more touches, more targets now. But I'm not dead with the Chargers. So the Chargers come in at number 10 for me. I got Cincinnati at number 9. They have to drop, obviously, after that 0-2 start. Also, just the injury to Joe Burrow. Defensively, that's what's keeping them in games, but Joe Burrow's dinged right now. Ravens at 8, I have to drop them a little bit after that loss to the Colts, and just all those losses on the offensive line. Like the defense in the secondary, we knew about those injuries, but I'm really worried about the offensive line and that wide receiver room. Odell Beckham Jr. dinged already, and then no J.K. Dobbins, your best running back as well. So Ravens coming in at number 8. I'm a little bit higher on the Browns than most. Really good defense. If we get that version of Deshaun, I mean, he had one really bad play. That turnover he had where he did that, like, pitchy thing to the back.
Yeah, that was bad.
Terrible. But pretty high on the Browns. I got the Eagles at number 6, which I can't drop the Cowboys too much, right? Because the Cowboys looked really good. Now, granted, they didn't really play anybody those first couple of weeks, but the defense looked good. And now you had to adjust without your best cover corner. You only had 1 week to prepare. So I need a big enough sample size where I could dip them below 5. So I'm still going to keep the Cowboys in my top 5. I'm going to have the Eagles just outside the top 5. They haven't really had to show a whole lot yet. So Dallas, with the potential of what they could do defensively, I know Dak had a stinker, but I think he bounces back next week. So Dallas still a top 5 team. I have Miami coming in at number 4. That's a huge leap. I mean, if this is like, what have you done for me lately? They're probably number 1. But I can't put them over the Bills, who I have at top as the top team, because I got the Bills. And the market has the Bills as 3.5, now 3-point favorites over the Dolphins at home. I think that tells you everything that you need to know about this Bills team. Disappointing loss week 1, but it was on the road to the Jets in a fluky game. Since then, 2 dominant wins, including on the road against Washington last week. San Francisco, I have to have number 2. I don't think they have a weakness right now other than the fact that their secondary struggles a little bit against opposing wide receivers, number 22 in the league. But how many teams in the NFC could really test that secondary? Not many. And then the Chiefs at number 3, a sleeping giant. So good defensively right now. Still kind of just like trying to figure out offensively who the go-to guy is. Is it MVS 1 week, Sky Moore 1 week? Pacheco's been really solid when healthy in the backfield. Can't drop them too far. So that's what I got. Bills, 49ers, Chiefs, Dolphins, Cowboys, Eagles, Browns, Ravens, Bengals, Chargers.
I got Browns at 10. Defensively, I just think that they're so good that they can get by a stinky offense, really. And if Deshaun Watson gets back to where he was, they could be super, super dangerous. Lions offensively could keep up with anyone. If their defense can do what they did in the second half of last year, then, man, they could be dangerous as well. Bengals just can't write them off yet because you've got Joe Burrow, you've got Jamar Chase, you've got T. Higgins, you've got Joe Mixon, you've got Tyler Boyd. So, I mean, this is an offense that should be really good, even with Joe Burrow. Can't put him in the top 5, though, because of his injury. Defensively, they've got huge question marks as they lose Jesse Bates. Last week, though, against the Rams, they look really good, especially against the run. Kyron Williams didn't really do anything at all, so put them at 8. Ravens at 7. I think they're going to make some moves on the defense. Ryan said right before the break ended that Kyle Van Noy did tweet a devil emoji, so maybe he is going to end up with the Ravens.
Purple devil.
Purple devil. I like that. Yeah. And Roquan Smith continues to be worth every penny. Highest graded starting inside linebacker right now for the season. You know that you've got a bunch of injuries, especially in the running back room, so you can't put him in the top 5. I like the Ravens in terms of what their upside is. I need to see more before I put them in those top spots. Cowboys, I thought, might be the best team in the league. And then you lose to the Cardinals. So they dropped to me from 2 or 3 down to 6. Just a terrible loss. An overlook a team kind of a loss, which you don't want from a team that's got title aspirations. You can't overlook anyone. We know that. Secondary looked terrible without Diggs. He was the 62nd most targeted in the corner in the NFL last year. He shut down an entire half side of the field, and now he is gone. It was evidence that the Cardinals could just spray the ball anywhere they wanted. And Dak Prescott knew that it's a wake-up call. He looked terrible in certain spots. Offensively, they could have done much more. Gallup has gotten better. I think that they have room to grow. I'm not willing to write them off, but man, was that loss a big wake-up call. Bills, they looked good. The week 1 loss is still in my head. Josh Allen's mistakes still in my head. The kicking for me is a huge high point. Tyler Bass now is 7 for 7, including 2 50-yarders. We know how important it is in this league. Really hard to believe that the Bills won 37-3 and still had maybe the 4th best game of the weekend. I just don't think I can't put them where Ryan did as number 1, just because of what we know in terms of what they've done defensively. They are getting a lot more pressure with Leonard Floyd, but they still are for 5 for me. I'm going to need to see more than just last game. Chiefs, I know that you could probably put the Chiefs number 1 every single week, just based on their history alone. Their leading receiver is Justin Watson, though. 7 for 150 yards. This whole season, he is their leading receiver. Travis Kelce, is he dating Taylor Swift? Is it a business move? I don't care. Still has a hyperextended knee. Looks much better. Much better. Defensively, the Chiefs are nasty with Chris Jones back. Gonna need a little bit more. Karlaftis has recorded at least 3 pressures in every game this season, and he has nearly doubled his pressure rate right now, which is 15% compared to his rookie year. And right now, I know that this is one of Ryan's stats that he likes. Kansas City right now leads the league in pass block win rate. So if you're talking about what the Chiefs can do with a bunch of nobodies, that's an important stat. Eagles for me are number 3. I don't feel like Ryan does in terms of that they feel like they're missing anything. It kind of just feels like they're hanging out until the postseason. And maybe that's good, maybe that's bad. But defensively, these guys are monsters. Jalen Carter right now, highest graded interior defensive lineman in the NFL. 3rd highest graded defender overall. That's insane. Covey, you know how much I like Covey. 291 punt return yards, 1st in the NFL. DeAndre Swift is a monster. They've got a bunch of backs who can kill you in many ways. Yes, we're getting too much Gainwell, but I do not care. Jalen Hurts is going to continue to run the ball himself, and they've just got a lot of weapons on the outside. Is it going to be Devontae Smith? Is it going to be A.J. Brown? Who knows? Niners, I don't think, like you said, Ryan, I don't think they have any flaws. Brock Purdy, this is how insane that the Niners are. Mike Florio told Peter King today that the only reason that he's giving Brock Purdy a wait-and-see grade is because of his name. That he doesn't have a name of a franchise quarterback, which, by the way, Purdy is one of the top gun manufacturer names in Britain. So if Glock Purdy isn't a nickname that you're thinking about, I don't know what is. And then the 2 Javons, Kinlaw and Hargrave, are tied for number 1 in quarterback hurries this year with 10 each, and Bosa is next with 9. So they have the top 3 quarterback rushers in the NFL right now, and offensively they got a ton of weapons. And then number 1, maybe it's trendy, maybe it's not. I've got the Dolphins. Offensively, I don't know how you stop them. They put up 70 points, 726 yards, and they didn't even have Jalen Waddle. They're averaging 30 points and almost 500 yards. That's ridiculous. So I don't know even what you do with Devon Achane now. I don't know what you do with Raheem Mostert. We said this running back core maybe wasn't very good. I lied. That's not the case. Miami now recording the 5 fastest offensive plays in the NFL. The game is just out of hand, and I think Tua right now is an MVP candidate. He's leading. I think he has the shortest odds there. So as long as everybody's healthy, I think that they win the division, and I think they're a real candidate for Super Bowl.
Cleveland, for me, is number 10 from my power rankings. I can't believe I'm even saying this, given the way they looked the first couple of weeks. But the fact now that we saw Deshaun Watson at least look like a capable quarterback, completed 82% of his passes against the Titans. Week by week, I don't know what that Titans defense is, but clearly right now it's a team that will give up 82% of passes, to Deshaun Watson. But, you got the Ravens and 49ers up next, so those are going to be tests for the Browns. But their defense could be the best in the league. I mean, in terms of total defense, they are the best in the league right now. So even if Deshaun Watson's up and down week by week, there's a lot of teams in the top 10 that have some inconsistency. So I'm going the Browns number 10, and I'm going the Lions at number 9. I love that offensive line, and we know how dangerous that offense is as a whole. If you're giving Jared Goff time, he's playing really smart football. He doesn't turn the ball over, doesn't throw a lot of interceptions. We watched that streak just come to an end. So if you're going to continue to have that offense with those weapons and Jared Goff playing good football, I mean, you're going to make things work. I mean, they didn't even allow a touchdown, and they gave up 183 yards of offense, and they sacked Desmond Ridder 7 times in week 3. I know Desmond Ridder's not great, but they still took they took that offense for the Falcons as a whole, including their run game, including Bijan Robinson, who I would have loved to have gone over 97.5 rushing and receiving yards. Didn't happen. That would be because of the Lions defense. So if they can do things on both sides of the football, they're going to continue to climb. I understand the Bengals started off 0-2, but I'm putting the Bengals in here at number 8 because, for one, yes, Joe Burrow's calf has been an issue. Yes, that's going to be something that they're going to have to think about now moving forward, and it's going to be something we're all thinking about week by week, whether you want to bet on the Bengals or not. The defense stepped up. They allowed the Rams to convert one third down out of 11 attempts, and they sacked Matt Stafford 6 times last night. They kept Puka Nacua quiet. Tutu Atwell was quiet. They struggled. This team's already been in a position where they've been 0-2 before. I'm looking at, yes, what that roster has done together in the past, and yes, I'm throwing also in some injuries that are there. But if that defense can come out and continue to play at least close to what they did against the Rams, when you slowly start to get a little bit more of a rhythm offensively, and on top of that, Joe Burrow starts to look like Joe Burrow. Hopefully the calf at least gets a little better. This team's going to be right back where they were. I'm putting the Ravens in at number 7. The offense is still clearly coming together, but my God, considering where they are right now, even after that loss to the Colts with all of the injuries that they've had again, it's like the Bengals know how to deal with an 0-2 start, just like the Ravens know how to deal with 50% of their roster getting hurt by week 3. Like, that's kind of where they are. But you do have to at least look at, okay, you got 4 fumbles. They lost 2 of those against Indianapolis. They're going to have to pick that up. They're going to drop in these rankings if they look again like they did against the Colts. I'm putting the Cowboys in at number 6. Look, sometimes there's recency bias, right? I'm not ready to sit here and throw this whole team away. As much as I would love to, I can't do it after 1 week against the Cardinals team that's going to be scrappy this entire season. The issue for the Cowboys is not defense. It's red zone offense. They're 27th in touchdown percentage right now. They can't score in the red zone. They converted 71% of their red zone trips into touchdowns last year. Like, this is a team that's got to be better in the red zone. And on top of that, Dak threw the ball 40 times. The Cowboys are now 7-15 when Dak Prescott throws the ball 40 or more times. They've got to pull back off that. They've got to make sure Tony Pollard has more carries. And you're going to need the defense to create some extra possessions. They've got to get back to that again. I do think this will be some semblance, at least, of a wake-up call for them. The Bills come in at number 5 for me. The Jets woke them up. Like, I know it's still in your head, Trista, and rightfully so. It's still in mine, too. But I have watched a team now with a pass rush that's dominant. Maybe what they also did to my Commanders is also in my head. So there's some of that also maybe moves them to this spot too. But that pass rush is absolutely dominant. And Josh Allen's learning to control his game a little bit. If he can stop trying to play hero ball, stop trying to be Brett Favre, and start realizing that throwing in double coverage 50 yards down the field is not going to result in anything good 99% of the time, this team is going to be really, really good and maybe finally have a chance to get back to the Super Bowl. The Eagles haven't come close to reaching their potential. I'm putting them at number 4. That dominant defensive line is just, I mean, it's fun to watch. It really is. DeAndre Swift adding this new dynamic to the run game that they have now. I love DeAndre Swift. The fact that the Lions let him go, I know they didn't like his running style. I don't know what you can't like about his running style. Find yourself a power back to go with it. The kid is unbelievable. The secondary's been injured. It's been an issue. So some of it you throw into, all right, they're dealing with some of those injuries. Then I go in here at the Chiefs at number 3. The offense looks better, fewer drops. They're 6th in total defense right now. They allowed 203 total yards to the Bears. And, you know, the competition could certainly be better, but they're the defending champs. Some of it you have to throw in. You have Patrick Mahomes. This team just won the Super Bowl. Early on in the season, we're playing some of that game a little bit where you have to look at big picture, what does this roster look like? What's their potential? Number 2 for me is the Miami Dolphins. It's a potentially historic offense. 70 points. It's flashy. I get it. They're the Lamborghini of the NFL right now. But
vroom, vroom.
They can outscore literally any team. But the problem is defensively for the Dolphins. They're 21st in points allowed. They're 23rd in total defense. They're 20th against the pass. So, yes, they're not going to put up 70 points every single week. They can score a lot, but if we're talking about team, I'm not taking the Lamborghini of the NFL. I'm taking the Toyota 4Runner. Dependable in all weather, dependable in all types, year-round. 49ers balanced on both sides of the ball. 30-plus points in all 3 games. Brock Purdy will have a damn quarterback name at some point. They're 3rd in total defense, 5th in points. His quarterback rating's 106. They've won 13 straight regular season games going back to last season. Give me the 49ers in there at number 1.